Thank you, Dirk.
No, I mean,
Dirk did it. I
yeah.
think he created those guys.
That or you go back to the dream team because that Sabonis' father, whatever his name was, that came over here and played for a while,
Oh
and
yeah,
that
good
that
call.
also gave to this Tony Crew coach. No, everybody forgets that
Vladi
dude was.
Divac.
Yeah, well, Crew coach shows up at 19 and was a force, like on a
Yep.
Bulls team that he had no right to be, and turns out he was very like he got drafted in the second round. Like this is crew coach does not get enough credit. He hides in the background of that team way too much. And he was very, very, very good.
You're only as good as your bench, and we take that job personally. This is the College Basketball Podcast where the takes are loud, the opinions are unhinged, and none of it really matters. But it definitely does to us. Behind every great starting five is a reckless, overconfident bench. Yep, that's us too. We need our opinions to matter, so listen up. This is Bench Points. All right, so the NBA draft has concluded, and it was eventful, and frankly, a lot of tears. I don't know about you all, but everybody cried. I started crying. I literally cried during the NBA draft, and I don't think I was alone in that. So, with that emotional NBA draft, what team had the best draft? Let's just start out with something positive. What was the best team in the draft? Who just hit their mark? That's going to make them better immediately, or maybe somebody that's going to be better in the long term. But who really enhanced their franchise?
I think the Grizzlies killed it. With moving up to get Howard was a huge, huge get. I think he fits in their system really well. They traded a great shooter in Bane away, added a guy that's got potential to be a great shooter, that's solid on defense, and they really didn't give up that much for it. Come back in the second round, I know they grabbed Meshack as a workhorse going to do dirty work. I don't think he'll ever see real minutes.
No.
He's a great backup guy to have who he showed at Tennessee he can guard positions 1 through 5. And I think he fits that city a lot too. He's got a walking fan base too with what he did at Tennessee. He's going to be a lot of fun there, but I think next year's draft isn't seeming to be as crazy talented. This one was very, very talented all the way through. Grabbing Coward where they did. Well, he's fixed what they traded away, and they probably saved money, and who knows what they're going to be able to do in the free agency or re-signing Triple J and John Morant, keeping that together. I think they really did a great job of managing everything they had.
I think this is one of the best Grizzly drafts that I can remember watching, where it wasn't just obviously they got Edie, to build that foundation and all that. But this was very calculated. Like they seemed serious. I don't want to disrespect them, but they were like, we're ready. We want to compete in the West. We want to get in the mix. We want to be mentioned. And I felt like they did that. I agree with that completely.
Javon Small. I mean, Meshack and him are very similar in how they play. Tough-nosed defensive guards that they're looking to add in there because Morant's not that big on defense. I mean, so it's one of those things that I think they hit a lot of spots they need for a team that was already in the playoffs and is going to contend out in the West.
Yeah, I mean, last year they had a relatively healthy John Morant. They had a very young Zach Edey who wasn't being used properly 3/4 of the season, and like the back quarter was starting to come alive with some real coaching. Now you're throwing Coward in the mix, who's going to gel well with both Edey and Aldama, assuming they keep him around. That's going to be a formidable team. They ran into a buzzsaw against OKC. But I mean, obviously OKC is hoisting a trophy right now, right? It felt inevitable outside of the Pacers' historic run. But I 100% agree. For getting him in the first round and then kind of some of their late second round moves, I thought they had a fantastic draft. Segueing on that, like the Pacers, for only having second round picks, I thought Cam Jones was a monster pickup.
Totally agree.
I had the pleasure of watching that kid play for Marquette, and I mean, just absolutely toasting people day in and day out. Very athletic, can score in creative ways, can dish. Is going to be kind of that piece that they need with Halliburton out for anywhere from 12 to 18 months. Obviously, they got some big moves to make in the offseason if they're going to be serious about contending. I mean, hell, they might tank. You never know. It's the NBA, but I thought, for just having second-round picks, I'd give them an A as well.
Yeah, I think, and this may be kind of a low-hanging fruit, but I think the Wizards actually had a decent draft. They couldn't get worse.
I mean, them and the Utah Jazz, right? It's like you have to play for them. Same with Charlotte. I mean,
You don't have to.
But they're starting to put some pieces together.
And Jake, I want to come back to that comment in a minute. But Trey Johnson, Will Riley, and Jameer Watkins.
Yeah.
Jameer, right? So those three, they're going to be better than they were last season just with that youth. I still think they've got a long ways to go, but like they're not going to be irrelevant. I think they'll be able to be at least not. They'll win more than 20 games or whatever they won last year. I don't know their exact record. They definitely got better.
I know I touched on it during our last podcast, but Trey, I think that's a monster pick. I think that's a high value pick too. You're going to get a lot out of that guy really quick. I think he's the kind of guy you can build some folks around. I think that's going to pan out long term.
And I think he's coachable too. Like I feel like he has a lot of, and I don't want to diss the previous Texas regime, but it was not great. And I hope that, I think with him getting the right staff, the right support, and kind of being, I don't think he won't be the guy, but he'll be pretty close to it. I think it'll be a splash.
I mean, the Spurs, you got to throw them up there with. I mean, everybody knew what they're going to do at number 2. That was obvious. But coming back with Carter Bryant, I think that's going to be a massive pick.
I tried so hard not to text you guys about this because I wanted to talk about it in the podcast, but I was so excited. I think it's a great pick. I was thrilled.
Are we still high on Harper though, or have we ever been?
No, but there's obviously talent there, and see what happens. But I mean, Carter Bryant, I thought,
that's a
awesome pick to add to him, and he's rough offensively and makes some rough decisions. If you watch him in Arizona, there wasn't always the smart, but he's also a very, very, very young kid. Everything he was not great at is very coachable. If he's willing to put in the work, he'll turn out. But the defensive instincts and the size and the length and the athleticism that guy has will absolutely do wonders on the Spurs team, as athletic as they are getting.
With that little part you just said, I think sums it up. He can be as good as he wants to be.
Yeah.
I really think that if he wants to put into work, he's going to have the staff, the support around him. That's what the Spurs do. I mean, Mitch Johnson's going to carry on what Pop did. I'm not saying he's going to be Pop 2.0. I'm not going to say that. But I do like him a lot, and I think he's a lot of respect, and Pop likes him, so I like him. I feel really good about it. Now, the Dylan Harper situation, I'm trying not to call it a situation. I caught myself earlier today talking about that I don't want it to sound like it's a problem, but it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I mean, there's talent that we've got, as in the Spurs. There's something to work with here. I'm very interested to see how they make that work. I'm worried about the locker room because there's that time is going to become a conflict.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting thing for this season.
Speaking of locker room conflict, how are we feeling about Danny Ainge just saying screw the world and taking Ace Bailey? I mean,
that's what I was alluding to when Jake said something about not wanting to go play there. You don't have to go play there.
Right.
You better be the second coming if you're going to pull that into a card. Like,
yes,
you better be
that's what I was thinking.
LeBron-esque.
Yes.
Or
he's not.
No, we know he's not. If you're going to pull that, because if he goes back into the draft, he's going to be late. Like, nobody's going to waste a lottery pick on not knowing if you're going to show up again on you. You may even go second. Like, we may see like an Amani Bates type guy where like the kid might be able to play, and it turns out, but like attitude stuff and weirdness that went on that sent Amani Bates to Eastern Michigan is where he finished up, is now just killing in the G League. And the Cavs, like, he had a couple great games with the Cavs, and they didn't want him around, so they sent him back to the G League, even though he was playing really, really well the few times he brought him up. It's just, that was a risk with a top 5 pick that I'm not sure.
I know, because there was some pretty like shady side stuff going on between some teams, moving some picks around, potentially wanting to get Ace on their team. Danny Ainge, he just went full 90s Danny Ainge and said screw the world, right? And I think, because of Ace Bailey's pre-draft antics, in my opinion, a lack of just like that next level stuff that you see out of NBA players in college, those guys are going to make it. I didn't see that in Ace. I think he might be a self-inflicted bust. 3-4 years down the road, I don't think we're going to be talking about Ace Bailey anymore. But then, if mid-season Ace Bailey's Rookie of the Year candidate, I'll buy his jersey, I'll wear it on the podcast, and I will make my apologies well known. However, I just don't. I don't see it.
With the Ace Bailey situation, that was bold because apparently, did it ever come out like what? Because apparently, some of Ace Bailey's team, his people, had told a team in the top 5 that he doesn't want to go there and not to draft him.
No, he didn't. Absolutely, he was
He
was
wanted to be East
Utah.
Coast, right?
It was Utah and Charlotte. He didn't want to go to. Is that what it was, Jake?
I think so. It was those two because I know he wanted the 76ers, the Wizards to land,
Yeah.
or Brooklyn. Those were the three he wanted to go to, and
Well, shit. Brooklyn took every guard that was available, including a 7-foot Danny Wolf who plays like a guard. Speaking of tears, Brad, did you see the ugly tears from Mama Wolf and Big Danny?
Crocodile.
Watching a redhead cry.
Yeah.
Hard. It's hard. We're awkward enough as is. You start getting tears running. It's just ugly. It's just it's like show the Halliburton replay again over that stuff. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Get it off him.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, that was tough. That was tough. That was true reality television. I felt
It
like.
was. It was.
If you're Utah, are you trying to please Ace Bailey's every need, or are you just being like, are you just trying to like just be business as usual and hope that he comes around? Like, what are you doing to try
I
to
think
get
Ainge is
him?
playing a different game. I think he's trying to get some trade pace.
Yeah, Ainge is more calculated than that. Now he's
It's a risk.
he's in charge of a Utah team that got 17 wins last year, so I mean he's got some work to do, right? But I think he's playing a longer game here, like Jake said. I think there might be some trade bait, there might be some packaging. He might know something that we don't know. He might have had some conversations with Ace that we don't know. He might be like, Ace, act like a pouty 4-year-old when we bring you up here. Don't even shake Adam Silver's hand, right? Could be something like that going on. It's Danny Ainge. I watched that guy piss off more finals teams in the 90s than I care to admit. So
Yeah.
he might have some tricks up his sleeve.
No, yeah, that's great. That's so true.
And I mean, I don't get the Walter Clayton move either. You've got two guards that are extremely volume shooters with Clarkson and Nixon there, and you've got some post guys that have shown some talent with Walker Kessler and Filipowski and all that. What about Walter Clayton's game said that's going to fit? I mean, Clayton's willing to put in the work. I mean, he put in work to get to as good as he is because, he came out to St. John's and then took 2 years at Florida to play his way into the lottery. And so it's not a knock on the kid necessarily. I just, the type of player he seems needs to run a team, and that doesn't fit with how Clarkson and Sexton play. Well, honestly, I don't know how you have Clarkson and Sexton on the same team in general, but that pick confused me as well.
Sam, I know you've got something to say. I'm going to say one thing. Here's why he was drafted in that place. It's because he wins.
I go to the Church of March Madness in March and watch that tournament, and Walter Clayton Jr. has got some shit to him. He scores when he needs to score. He hits the loudest buckets.
Yeah, but he has to have the ball to do that.
Give him the ball.
It's not
That's
gonna
what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. Guess what? Utah won 17 games last year. I don't think they get anybody on that team has a right to say I get the ball. I think it's going to be a hell of a summer camp to find out who gets that ball. And I think Walter Clayton Jr.'s got the work ethic. He's got the moxie. He's got the balls. I think he can do it. Time will tell, right?
Yeah.
But I see him being the Jalen Brunson of that team. You just give him the ball, let him work. He's got a national championship. Just let him cook. If it doesn't work out, guess what? Can't get much worse than 17 wins.
Yeah. No, that's true.
literally 16 words results.
Yes, that's a much.
Well, so I had this thought. I kind of wanted to post it out there too. Obviously, Cooper Flag, everybody's fired up about him. I think everyone's pretty excited to see what's going to happen. But who will be the biggest bust? I think we kind of already we talked about that with Ace. But is there anybody else that you think that might be a big bust?
I think Igor Demon will
Yeah.
be where he was taken. Like,
Good, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't see that much out of him at BYU. That top 10 pick, and obviously Brooklyn didn't see that much out of him because they wouldn't have drafted 17 guards with their remaining 20 picks.
What were they doing? 5 first-round picks, and you just got yourself a starting guard and maybe 3 backups. What?
Pretty sure they just put one on Facebook Marketplace. I think that they're selling them.
Yeah, that's just like I don't know. I mean, if he would have fell to him closer to that, like, I don't know, after 17, whatever, like the 19th pick, whatever, that felt better to me. But I think based on going number 8 relative to the guys that went around him, because you're going to have you be compared to Fears and Coward and that the Noah Song and like the moves that New Orleans made to pick up Derek Queen, who was there as well. That there's a lot of really good players around him that are going to better situations for the most part, and that had outstanding college careers. Now I'm totally prepared to eat this because BYU did better than they have in a long time, and he was a big reason of that. I just didn't see top 10 pick out of him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm with you on that because I don't know. Obviously, Ace Bailey's in my top list. I think that mostly self-inflicted.
Number 2.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's my number 2. Just didn't seem like a sound choice. Peppered in with subsequent choices there. What do I know though, right?
That's why we're on the bench. But who do you think would be the biggest star out of this draft that's not Cooper Flagg?
You know who I want it to be, and I don't know if it's gonna be, is Derek Queen.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna say that, so you put him on the Pelicans. How do we feel about Zion coming in this year?
When Zion plays, he plays. He's
Right.
still.
Is he gonna play?
I don't know. That's
Because now you got 2 kind of sort of mobile, big body guys that can, score and create. If they gel well together, if Zion's healthy and they gel well together, I think we'd be talking about Derek Queen 5-6 years from now for the All-Stars. The other thing I worry about is, that's a lot of body to have on the court. Because Derek Queen's not small, Zion Williams not small.
No.
I don't think either one of them are exceptionally fast. They can be explosive, but that's where I worry about. I want it to be Derek Queen. Who I think it might be, hard to say. I think you got a lot of role players in that top 10, as crazy as that sounds. I don't think you have an MVP in the top 20 5-6 years from now. I think you got a lot of guys that come in as oh shit, Cooper Flagg just gave us 18 again, or hey, Coward just had a 12 assist, 12.9 rebound game. I think you're going to see a lot of that.
That's a good point.
Well, I think it goes back to how you want to define star. So I think Edgecombe has a lot of Vince Carter to him, where he is going to be able to put up some ridiculous highlights because of how athletic he is and on the team he's on and the pace they're playing and the guys he's playing with. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for him to really show off those dunking skills, and if he ever gets a jump shot, then it becomes deadly. But I don't know that he's a star in the sense that, yeah, this is the guy you build your team around, or a guy that's going to the difference between you winning 20 games and then you winning 40 games. He's not that guy, but I think from a standpoint, and Vince Carter wasn't. Vince Carter was a great player, don't get me wrong, and he was never the reason teams won. More often, he was the reason teams kind of lost because he wasn't great defense, and he was eating a bunch of salary. But he was worth the price of admission because you never knew when he was just going to clear a 7-footer to dunk it. And he's got that kind of game to him. So I think in a few years we could be talking about Edgecombe being just a fantastic watch, and the 76ers just being kind of relevant. But
So they'll be the same.
Yeah. I think he shows a lot of flashes, and I like Derek Queen to do, but I kind of like the opposite pick for New Orleans. I think Jeremy Fears is going a lot of underrated. I think that was their better pick. It was the higher pick, but it was the better pick. And there's a reason they went with him there instead of Queen, even though they wanted Queen to. That guy, watched him at Oklahoma. He could just, as a freshman, was just carrying teams through the gauntlet of the SEC. It wasn't a light work to carry that team, and he absolutely did it. Can hit from anywhere, and I think he fits in with Zion and Ingram and everybody they have around him, and he could absolutely be the star we're talking about out of this draft a handful of years from now.
I think we might need to keep Pelicans on the watch list this year. I mean, I think, like I said, if it pans out, it pans out because, I mean, you got a lot of crazy good talent there. But definitely keep it on the watch list because it could explode. And to your VJ point, Jake, 100%, he's the guy that's going to put cheeks in seats, and he's going to sell some jerseys, and he's going to make ESPN's top 10, but he's not going to win you any games.
Is he an Obi?
Well, that's a great question. Great question. Yeah. Is he an Obi? Because Obi's got that, like...
The crowd loves him. There's a chant.
But
Like a soccer...
Obi does some things that I'm not sure if Edgecombe can do yet. But then Edgecombe does things like handle the ball that Obi can't do. So, I don't know. That's a good... Very well could be the six-man team that goes. I like that comparison a lot.
Clip that, and we'll show it mid-season. We'll talk about that one, because that's a great question.
Yeah. We'll see how that'll age. Because I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I mean, he's going to make the team better. People are going to love him. He's going to be fun to watch. He's going to be every kid, 8-year-old. They're going to love him wherever city he's at. I think they're going to enjoy watching him play. He's going to be the flashiest guy. Just like my 8-year-old thinks that if you're a great dunker, then you're the best basketball player on the planet.
Right. Right. Cohen Park can dunk. Is he the best basketball player on Michigan State? Nah.
No.
Like I said, the bad end of VJ is Mac McClung, right? Like, can't get out of the G League, but wins the dunk contest every year.
But for bench behavior, we're going to keep the draft discussion going. What do you think? Is there a pick, worst draft as a team? I've been itching to say something about it to somebody that will understand. But Carter Bryant's fit, not wearing the shirt underneath his blazer, killed me. Not the fact that it looks stupid, but the fact that it had to be so itchy. Like that couldn't have felt well. Like I feel like that would be very rough on this upper region of my body. I know that would be a problem. But it looked like it was uncomfortable. That is my bench behavior take. It was not great. But love the pick, don't love the fit.
I'm gonna rewind a full year here, and I'm gonna bring up Zach Edey again because I know you both love it when I bring up Zach Edey. We need more of what they did last year. Forget the glitz and glam of the ESPN ran NBA draft, right?
And just drive a Kia.
Drive your Kia 110 miles per hour to your coach's house, hang out, and have some beers, and get drafted with your former teammates watching, right? No, I thought that was cool last year. He went to the trainer's house, the big McMansion that they got out there, and all the team was there, and they had that big celebration. I don't think anybody saw him going top 10 until like maybe 30, 40 minutes into that draft. We're like, oh, okay, I see what Memphis is doing right here because they couldn't get the guy from UConn, who I will not mention his name. But I thought that was cool. But to your point, man, it's just a show now. It's like I think the best part of the whole thing was watching Ace Bailey pout in his ugly ass suit. I mean, just.
It's pretty evident, right?
You got showing the inside of their jacket, which is never meant to be seen, and it's got the leopard print and all that fun stuff. It's just ugly. It's a show, and I don't like it. The underneath the shirt, just no respect. I don't know. Sit it out. Go to your coach's house, get drafted there, have a barbecue. That's the way it should be done.
Just don't invite Aaron Kraft. Remember, never invite Aaron Kraft.
Well,
or Bruce Pearl.
He's a doctor.
Oh, that's right. He's a doctor.
He played at Ohio State long enough to become.
He was one of 120,000 student athletes that went professional in something else, right? One of those guys. Thank God he's not playing college basketball for Ohio State. That's all I can say.
He's fighting. He's watching the Kai Ziegler lawsuit to see if he can get another year.
Yes, he is.
Gosh,
he is.
That would make his life.
You wouldn't hear the end of it from Ohio State fans.
Oh, gosh. It'd be insufferable.
Give him a couple Geritol and get him back on the court, and those folks will love him.
Oh, yeah. You know it. Jake, what about you? What's your bench behavior for this week?
All right. I don't know what's going on in Portland. Is Portland just giving up on basketball? I don't know. The guy that was I mean, everybody was looking at him in like picks 40 range, right? Like they trade with Memphis to grab him at what was it? I can't even say his name. The Chinese center that blocks a lot of shots. That's great. The guy went right behind him was the best shot blocker in the draft. Everything about this decision was poor. I thought because like Yang Hansen, I think.
Hansen Yang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, a 7'2". I mean, he looks like an NBA player. He might turn out like I hope that Portland gets to play this at some point and go, haha, we were right, you were wrong. But the guy Bringer from France was a much better shot blocker. Showed a lot better timing on the international scale. Was rim runner kind of player, and you went with this guy that was looking in the early second round, mid second round. I don't know what you were thinking here. I don't know what it shocked everybody at ESPN. Not that ESPN, yeah, the ESPN draft coverage was just as bad as the finals coverage. And they were
Oh
stunned.
my gosh!
I don't know anybody that was like, "Yep, that was the pick that needed to be made right there." Like everything that they could say was, "Well, you got the guy you wanted," So it better play out. You better come play.
You got the guy you wanted. That's so true.
Yeah, I'm with you on that coverage, guys. Like Doris Burke's got job security if they keep shuffling people to cover draft picks and all that stuff like that. I mean, I'm worried about the state of college basketball if ESPN gets any more coverage than they do. And speaking of the international scene, yeah, I've watched him play. I mean, there's nothing super exciting about his game. There's nothing I saw that justified trading up for him. But it could be something, again, we're on the bench, right? There might be something we just don't know. I will say, watching international basketball right now, the under-19s, there's a lot to be excited about with some of these incoming kids. AJ's having an absolute fantastic run. I got to watch Daniel Jacobson get some junk minutes against France today, so that was pretty exciting. I'm not 100% sure if he plays with an under-20 lead, but it was still fun to watch. There's some international controversy with Jordan forfeiting against Israel, so that was kind of interesting. I wanted to see Omer play today. It did not happen. So
I can read more about that.
International.
That's like a real weird situation.
Yeah, it's just like. Guess what? You're the under-19s. Put the politics aside and play some basketball, right? I mean, what are you going to do if you play Israel in the championship if they happen to make it? But are we going to forfeit because we're upset about what's going on with a bunch of adults making terrible decisions for people's lives? Regardless of what side of the fence you're on, or are you going to play some basketball? You're 19 years old. Play the game.
And one thing I want to mention too, real quick about Hanson Yang, the dude came out of the stands.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
He was in the audience.
I like that.
And he came down. I'm rooting for the guy, and for the Blazers, like I see it almost as much as a business decision, where now you've got China's going to be all in on this guy. That they're all going to be wearing Blazer jerseys. That's why Yao Ming made it to every All-Star game, because even though he couldn't walk, gotta love him. He was injured most of the time and broken down. And the Rockets were elevated during that time.
Yep. Danny Wolf's mom had a better seat than him.
Yes, she definitely did. She definitely did. She sat pretty in there, or not. But anyway, we're going to get back into the college basketball realm. What coach is under the most pressure or even a hot seat? Not necessarily the hot seat, obviously, potentially be getting fired, but who is really carrying that burden of meeting these expectations going forward?
I know where Jake's is going to go almost immediately.
I do too.
So before he gets to what's the obvious hot seat, I'm going to start with DeVries. And I'm going to tell you why. He's going to Indiana. Everybody pretends they want the Indiana coaching job. Nobody wants the Indiana coaching job. And I'm going to tell you why. Those boosters, the fans, they all have this irrational belief that their 5 banners means that they're owed the greatest performance out of 18 to 22-year-old kids that you could possibly get. guess what? It's been 40 years. You're going to have to put the dream away. You're going to have to start waking up and doing some big boy work. And DeVry's got to do that big boy work, right? He's got a brand new team coming in. There ain't a single player coming back. He's got some fantastic talent coming in. He's got that Sisley kid that everybody's kind of buzzing about. Everybody else is a transfer. But you know, he's going to produce immediate results, or he's going to be ushered out just like the last 4 coaches were. That is a job that if you're not successful off the bat, you're under the gun. And that guy is going to be under the gun from jump, especially if he doesn't finish top 5 in the Big Ten, and also if he doesn't make the tournament. Because it used to be Indiana was an expectation for the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Now it's just like their Super Bowl is beating Purdue and maybe limping into the tournament. He's got to turn that around, or they're going to want him going.
I mean, the check the boosters wrote this year for him too makes a big difference.
Yep,
For sure.
It's that's one of the highest paid rosters out there. So that means they expect results. Not the opening shot I would want. I want to come in a little bit under the radar, you know, and kind of have a chance to build my team, not come in with a $50 million price tag hanging over my head, or however much they paid. Like that. That's a very warm seat from the time you sit down.
try to find out how much they paid. The rumor was like $15-16 million.
Yeah, I think I saw 20, but
20. I know that Kentucky and then your baby Jake is going to be in that $20 million conversation.
no, I'm not surprised you're here. So I think the obvious one, and I don't know how hot it is. I think it should be. I think they're crazy for it not. But the guy Hubert Davis in North Carolina, man, like this is. I don't think it is a close margin in who like the worst coach in the ACC is, and possibly like out there. I think Hubert Davis is bad at his job, and nothing he does on the court makes sense. He tripped and fell into a finals appearance with Roy's players. That I know he helped recruit, and that's great. But coaching and recruiting very different aspects. I mean, you know that if you play Dynasty on NCAA football, like you calling the plays and running the plays is a lot different than bringing those 5-star players in. And now he's lost a little bit of the recruiting edge. The recruiting isn't as high. He's got Will Wade making fun of him for not being able to use one of their more talented players who transferred to NC State. He's eating it on the chin everywhere he goes. And I mean, you talk about a team that was coming in that everybody was expecting to run right back, and they ran away from the tournament, barely inched in there, and then got real quick embarrassed. And I mean that was on some miracle performances by R.J. Davis, absolutely stud.
100%.
Yeah,
R.J. Davis.
that I was shocked that nobody gave a shot to in the draft with the way he. Good luck to the kid because I enjoy watching him play, but I hated the fact that he wore that ugly blue. But I mean, he was incredible, and Hubert Davis could not figure out the best way to use him. Could buy the kid any help, and I think that his seat should be a lot hotter than what it is. But I don't think North Carolina is that on it. But I think Bobby Hurley is feeling it. I think that seat is on fire. Mm-hmm. He just lost his top recruit that saved his job last year to Kentucky this year. They've way underperformed ever since he got there, and plus the antics he does off the court and on the court. Yeah,
He's a Hurley.
Yeah, that works at UConn when you're winning, but the second you stop winning, that becomes another bullet in the firing gun, right? Like that's that seat is hot, and they're going into a Big 12, which is a much better basketball conference than the Pac-12 had been forever. Like you've got Kansas State. Everybody else in the Big 12 that's very good. And then you look in state at Arizona, who comes in, doesn't skip a beat, is just as good as they were in the Pac-12. You're getting little brothered in your state at every level, football, basketball, everything. And if I'm a coach at Arizona State, I'm starting to feel pain from all that fire under my butt. But I think Bobby Hurley is one of the hottest seats out there from the Power 5 program.
So for me, and it's always going to be, well, maybe not always, but pretty close to it. Sweet John Calipari. Again, how much money you're going to spend to support me, and I underperformed and underdelivered in a lot of ways at Kentucky, but he went to Arkansas thinking he was God's gift to man, and that's the way they're treating him.
Yeah, he
And
played.
he's got to show up. He's got to put something. He's got to put a banner in the Raptors quick with how much money they're spending, and there's a ton of it down there, but he's got to make it happen.
That dude played the worst poker hand in college basketball history. I mean, flat out. He wanted Kentucky to tell him how special he was, how handsome he was, how great he was at college basketball coaching. And Kentucky said, we're tired of it, and let him walk. And he was like, oh, shit, now I'm at Arkansas. Now I have to build something. Well, let me try to get 5 NBA players. Well, he didn't. And
You ever been to Little Rock before?
I have not. I have not.
It's not great.
Like the thing that saves Cal, and I don't know how much longer it's going to save him, is hope, right? Like he brings in these top players, right? And then the college fan base gets hope. But like I hate Kentucky. I hate the state of Kentucky, and their fans annoy me. But one thing about their fans is they know basketball and they're very knowledgeable.
Sure.
And that bluffing stuff that Cal was doing wasn't going to work. Like with that fan base, they weren't going to let, like, you're not winning. We don't care what you like. The fact that his main brag right now is the contracts that his players have signed in the NBA. You had nothing to do with that. You're not a player development coach. You're not an X's and O's guys. You didn't go find these diamonds in the rough. You found kids that probably could have gone to the NBA straight out of high school, and then claimed them for yourself when they signed these giant contracts that they've earned. That is disgusting behavior to me, and I don't like Cal in general, but Arkansas is not the place I'm going to try to build anything. That school is cursed. They won it in '94, I think. Right? Was that the
On the back of Bill Clinton's presidency.
Yeah, like absolutely. I think it was '94, right? I could be wrong, but since then, that school athletic program is absolutely cursed. A few years later, they have the fumble that saved Tennessee season for the championship. We've seen them twice in the College World Series baseball just drop an easy fly ball that that should have won them the game, won them the college championship. They just drop the fly ball or forget to turn the double play and throw the lead out at third. I mean, football's injuries, basketball injuries. That school they sold their soul for that one championship in the early '90s that everybody has forgotten about, and like even the 30 for 30 that was made on them can't save it.
I personally, I think Bill Clinton called in some favors.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
And back to your Hubert Davis conversation, Jake. UNC is spending $20 million on that roster this year. Hubert Davis is the first coach in NCAA history to take a preseason #1 team and march them right out of the tournament. They were the fastest team to become unranked. Hubert Davis does not have a lot of lives left. I know you said that seat should be hot, but you're not 100% sure how North Carolina's feeling. I personally think that seat is boiling. I think it's hotter than Bobby Hurley's. I think it's hotter than Archie Miller, wherever he winds up, because that guy should have a hot seat everywhere if he ever winds up anywhere. I mean, that seat is cooking. If you spend $20 million on this team and you don't do anything with it, forget your Caliparis, forget your Hurleys, forget your DeVry. That guy's got to go. North Carolina expects a lot more than what they're getting out of that guy.
And they extended him.
They did. I mean, they did the same thing. I mean, you watch some of this nostalgia stuff that happens at Louisville, that happens at Georgetown, and you got these legends that come in and coach, right? And everybody loves them because of who they are. But then when they have to go because they're getting fired, it's just sad, right? Does anybody want to see Hubert Davis get fired by UNC? No, but does it probably need to happen? Yeah, I think if he has a bad year, he has to his best option is to walk. Be like, you know what? I'm going to take my buyout. I'm going to get the hell out of here before these people run me out.
Maybe he'll hear that ESPN needs some talent in the booth, and then maybe he can go back there and just maybe he'll be more relevant there.
I mean, can't get much worse.
I'd rather say a whole lot lower ceiling.
I don't even know what they're spending $20 million on. Like,
it doesn't make sense.
they got the number 8 recruiting class according to ESPN, grabbed the number 5 recruit, but like, the guy they brought in from Arizona, the 7 foot, was it Arizona Vassar. I didn't really see that much out of him. You lose Elliot Cadeau out of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the
Cadeau's going to go make Michigan relevant.
yeah, and, I mean Trimble is a very good player, but he's a defensive piece. He's not an offensive guy. You fought like hell to get Cade Tyson out of Belmont, and he either that was a miss or Hubert Davis couldn't figure out how to miss him. I don't know which one. The evidence was there, and I wanted him at Tennessee real bad for him to be a stud, like a very, very good shooter and a very productive player, and he couldn't find minutes on the North Carolina team. They couldn't make the tournament, so I don't know who was wrong there. It could have been both. It could have been a miss and not knowing how to use them, but I don't know. I would like to see more what's happening, but then you lose a stud player to like the littlest little brother in state with besides Wake Forest, but like to NC State, the triangle, the one you don't really worry about, and then you're catching heat there. Like Drake Powell's gone. I don't know what they're bringing in. I don't know that it's enough, and I don't know what you spend $20 million on. That feels like you're way overpaid.
And Will Wade can't wait to beat your ass.
Yeah.
He can't wait. He is looking. That is, as arrogant as he is, he can coach. He can also do other things that I'm going to let the recordings that were made of him that you can still access online speak for themselves. Of course, I guess now that's legal, but I do. That's the thing. Like, I feel like UNC has lost that big brother, that Goliath mentality.
Doesn't feel like a rivalry anymore, does it?
Well, Shire came in there and just continued. Like, yeah, the scores are probably even because those teams are going to have, but from a winning perspective, not just against each other, North Carolina doesn't seem to be in the same boat Duke is anymore. Like Duke's winning. Duke's best player, like obviously their best player, Cooper Flag's out, and like for the ACC tournament, and you can't knock them out. Like, I mean, Duke still wins it. Like, it's just Shire's come in and just continued what Kay was doing. And I mean, I had some doubts about Shire, but every year so far he gets one level farther. He gets knocked out in the Sweet 16, comes back to the Elite Eight. Gets knocked out in the Elite Eight, comes back, grabs Final Four. Like, does that mean they're in the championship next year? I don't know. That's not what Hubert Davis did. Hubert Davis went to the championship to like not making the tournament, to barely making the tournament, getting put out, and then like not a lot of hope the other way. Like it's there's starting to be a canyon formed between the two, which is sad because that was for a long time the best college basketball rivalry ever, and I don't know that it has the same steam anymore.
You go back to the J.J. Redick, Tyler Hansborough days where, I mean, it was just people killing themselves on the basketball court to win that one game, right? And the last couple have just been like duds in the first half. I mean, just like it's shocking how bad it's gotten. So
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. I hope that it's not going to be one of those things that we tell our kids about one day of like, hey, this used to be great. This used to be a great rivalry. I hope that it gets rekindled. It's always going to be something, but
I mean, they're too
gotta
close
keep up
physically to each other for it not to be a great rivalry. Because the fact that you've
True.
got two top tier basketball teams within what I think it's like 9 red lights between them.
Were they called Tobacco Road?
Yeah, like it's something silly like that. It's got everything you need for a great rivalry. You got Duke with their noses in the air and the private school and all the rich kids, and you've got the public school of North Carolina, and you've got Jordan, and you've got everything Duke's produced. There's too much for too long for that not to be great, and I think
are they going to wind up being the next Indiana?
please no, because like
Where-
as much as I love to hate them, I like when they're good because it makes it more fun to hate them. It's not fun to hate.
Well, what I'm
Indiana.
saying is, like, are you going to march coaches through there until you find something that kind of sort of sticks, and then if they're not winning after 4 or 5 years the way you want them to win, are you going to march that person out of there?
I don't know.
'Cause that's
I mean,
what-
the AD did a great job there to bring it when he brought in Roy Williams, right? Because you went whoever the guy was that put up the first losing record they had in forever. They immediately
Right.
got rid of him after Dean, or was it after Dean? I can't remember. I can't remember the coaching
I can picture his face.
But either way, it went him. They bring in Roy, and boom, it's right back. So like, if it's the same AD, I think he's got the right attitude. And, and it's not like Hubert Davis was the wrong hire when they hired him.
It just didn't
It
pan
just
out.
didn't happen. It just didn't pan out. And you got to be able to pull the trigger quick nowadays. And that sucks for coaches in general, but it's just the way the game is.
Well, yeah, and the way the game is now is not the way it was 20 years ago, and you know, us old men are going to have to start admitting that. You know, the coaches don't have loyalty to the programs, even though they ask it of their student athletes, and the student athletes don't have loyalty to anything but a dollar right now, and rightfully so, because a lot of these kids have gone to programs and watched the coach leave, right? You know, UNC is one of those schools that if you get a chance to go, you try to go there for 4 years. You don't transfer out. Elliot Cadeau transferred out. You know, that says a lot about what's going on in the state.
Van Leuven to NC State, like a lot of these. I mean, Drake.
Like, I think Cadeau was the piece that you could potentially build an ACC championship out of, a potential tournament run out of. He's got that shit to him, right?
Yeah,
and he said, "Peace. I'm going to go play for Dusty May."
Very Marcus Page-esque to him, where he's not
Yeah.
an incredible scorer, but just an incredible point guard. He only had the ability to be, and I mean, it would have been nice to see what he did with the ball in his hands more. Like R.J. Davis, you weren't going to take the ball out of his hands, so I'd like to see Nico running the team. I think it would have done well. And
R.J. Davis wins the Cousy Award if there was a gentleman by the name of Braden Smith that wasn't playing basketball. I mean, R.J. Davis had the it to him. He got picked up undrafted, right?
Yeah, this is scary. I think the Thunder picked him up. that's
yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah, congratulations, OKC. Great. Happy for your success and good luck in all your endeavors with R.J. Davis.
So, I keep hearing on this broadcast, different broadcasts and things, these buzzwords, and we were kind of talking about this in a previous recording, but like those words that kind of irk you, that kind of get overused or just kind of used and abused in the world of sports. What's one of those for you all that really stands out as to being misunderstood and maybe overused at times? I've got, and maybe I'm being selfish, I've got one, the term unicorn. People have been talking about, oh, Giannis, what a unicorn. I find they call every kid that's got like just a little bit of talent, a unicorn. That they're just this rare breed of talent.
If they're over 6'9" and can like play the guard position, they're
right.
all of a sudden a unicorn because they can dribble the ball.
So to add to that, when I say the term unicorn in terms of basketball, who is a unicorn?
Yeah.
yeah. Wemby kind of fits it for me too. You know,
don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here, Brad. Giannis might be the unicorn in that group.
Well, Wemby's who I'm trying to get to. I think Wemby truly is that unicorn, and I think LeBron is a unicorn.
Yeah.
I mean, he could do everything. He really could. When he wanted to, and when he could play all 5 positions. I could put him anywhere, and be successful. Well, maybe not successful. I could provide a serviceable product on the floor at any point with LeBron. Of course, he's one of the greats.
Well, let's look at like the history of unicorns, right? I think it all kind of started.
I remember being called like a unicorn for basketball. It was Kristaps. And that played out well.
Is who?
Who's who, Jake?
Kristaps Porzingis. When the Knicks
who'd you say?
Porzingis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that didn't play out well.
I'm going to take it even further back. Like, we're going to go old school. You wanted a guy that you could plug in any one role. It started with Bird and Magic. Those guys could single-handedly take over a game. You could put them at the 5. You could put them at the 1. I mean, there are guys you can build dynasties. This is going to be another buzzword, right? You could build dynasties around those guys. And you really didn't get a lot of that after those two. I mean, Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time, right? But Michael Jordan had a specific role on that team. He led it. He shouldn't have ever been your 1, but for the most part, he was your 2. he could flirt with the three. He wasn't playing your 4 and 5. He wasn't guarding your Patrick Ewings. He wasn't guarding anybody like that, right?
Right.
LeBron, God, I'm trying to imagine him doing anything against Giannis. I could see Magic Johnson picking Giannis's pocket. I can see Bird getting in that guy's head, right, and tormenting the hell out of him. LeBron,
Larry Bird would
body
have
up
these guys in
physically.
counseling.
Yeah, I
If
think
they're
he could.
already in it, they would be.
I think he could body up physically with them. But unicorn wise, I think this generation's version of that is Giannis and Wemby. I think those are guys that can create. You have to game plan for them, but your game plan for them is stopping four other guys and just be like, I hope Giannis and I hope Wemby don't score 40 to 50 points on us,
Yeah.
and
I'm not
somebody
going to
else,
let them beat me. They're
and
not going to beat us.
and somebody else does something, right?
Yeah.
That's like, God, I can live with Giannis scoring 45, but I can't if he scores 45 and Dame gets 30. Wemby now, he's got some weapons around him. You're going to have to worry about Kessler. You're going to have to worry about Harper if he pans out. There's some cool things happening in San Antonio, but he's your game plan.
Yeah.
You're not planning for the other four people on that court. So I think those are legit unicorns. I think they were born from Bird and Magic, and they've evolved to what they are now, which is just like insanely tall, freak athlete, fun to watch players. But there's not many of them, and that's what it shouldn't be many of them because they're unicorns, right?
Exactly.
We don't get a call of Braden Smith in college basketball a unicorn because of the way he plays a position. If anything, we're going to call him an antique because he plays it old school, right?
Yes.
We're not going to call Jalen
Yeah.
Brunson and SGA unicorns. We're going to call them what they are, free throw merchants. But no, I think unicorn's a great term to kind of pick apart because there's not supposed to be very many of them, and I think we just went over 4 examples, and I can't think of many more.
I mean, I don't know if this fits
Jake, what do you think?
what you're looking for, but I hate the fact assist of the game or hoop of the game or whatever that is, like whatever the product placement spot it is, happens in like the second quarter or before halftime.
Yeah.
Yep. So much because like I get the reason why, because you want to be able to run the ad while people are watching, but when it happens in like the third quarter, I'm like, we've got a whole another 12 minutes if we're in NBA. If it happens in like 10 minutes, like we've got the end of the second half or in a tight game, and maybe don't press that button this quick. There could be some absolutely fantastic plays down the stretch that you might want to put that sponsor's name on, and that just irks every time. It just, I feel like an old man yelling at clouds. Like it's not going to change it because it's paid advertising and they want it done by a certain amount of time. But it drives me nuts.
I'm with you on that.
Game 6, Pacers OKC. They gave the assist of the game to what wound up being a really just bunched up alley-oop that turned into a layup, and they called it in the second quarter as like the whatever Kroger plus card assist of the game. And then Pacers had back-to-back stretches where the ball never touched the ground. It was 3 hockey passes and a layup or a three-pointer that were just absolutely beautiful, and it was too late. The assist of the game went to a busted-up alley-oop. Congratulations, Krogers, you
That
did
was
it.
also the game where they had Halliburton steals it and like throws the no-look past the Pascal for the dunk. Like, yeah, that should
To go up 20.
Great point. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
kills me.
Yeah, Jake. That's a good one. I've noticed that before, but I've never thought about it. That's a great point. I feel like, especially depending on how that game goes, but if you're doing it in the finals, anything can happen, especially with this season and these playoffs. I mean, literally anything could have happened. But yeah, they just got to fill in those spots and get the. I guess I keep picking on Kia. I shouldn't, but the Kia assist of the game.
I think it's Allstate.
But,
I think it's the one that paid for that.
Or Allstate, hell, it probably is.
I think the Kia assist of the game is now going to be like, let's speed that up Zach Eady style with Kia Sorrento.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of speeding it up, I've got a reco. So I've got a recommendation for a new show that is out right now on HBO. It's called Duster, and it's like a good like vibe, like old school '70s, kind of like a hippie crime drama. So much fun. It's great. If you're a fan of Zach Eady, you'll love it. So Sam, you should watch at least one episode tonight. And if you're a fan of Shador Sanders, somebody out there who truly is a fan of this person, you would like this. If you're tired of Fast and the Furious, Duster's the way to go. It's great. So much fun. It's a great show. So this is a recommendation segment. So either one of you, Sam, Jake, give me a reco. It could be anything.
Well, to feed off of what you just said, I've got approximately 3 months of Bluey and YouTube videos of Yo Gabba Gabba to get through because my toddler has held our TV hostage. And the one rule that Carson, Mary, and myself will abide by is that all things college basketball start in October, right? So yeah, I'll take you up on any recommendation. I'll probably have to watch it from my phone while my kid enjoys my nice 75-inch TV for the final performance of School of Rock for the 456th time. My recommendation, I don't know. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of Foo Fighters performances where Shane Hawkins was drumming for him during "There Goes My Hero." If you guys watch that video, tell me that doesn't get your blood pumping. I mean, I hope they played that in the tunnel of every Purdue basketball game and watch them take the heads off of whoever is in front of them. I mean, I'm ready to run through a brick wall every time I hear that. And watching that kid hit the drums like that, ooh, yeah, fire me up.
Oh, dude, that's a great record. I love the Foo Fighters. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so good,
Yep.
so good. I could cry like it is the 2025 NBA draft all over again when I watch that video. Jake, what's a record for you?
We've stumbled upon it at the Walker household. This new movie that came out, Moana, I think is how you pronounce it. It's at least it's got
Moana.
a channel. Yeah, it runs 24 hours a day. Apparently, it's pretty good, pretty catchy. The second one, the sequel, not as great, but the old Moana, as it's called at my house, very good. A lot of fun
The
to watch.
old
Yeah, that's
Old Mo.
that's about the only thing that shows up on my TV until about 8 o'clock, and then whatever I can find to kill time for an hour and a half that me and my wife somehow agree on that's a different battle. But yeah, Moana. It's I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's pretty good.
I hear that. Isn't that guy Dwayne Johnson like
Yeah,
one of the main
yeah.
characters on there? He's an up and coming guy. I know.
Yeah, not sure
He was
if you've
once
heard
on
of
the
it.
bench.
We're gonna
He
do
was
big
once
thing.
on the bench for some NFL team at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's
I
going to do
believe
something.
he was in the World Wrestling Federation at one point, right?
I think so. Something with wildlife.
Yeah. I think he got stuck in a board game too.
Right. Oh, true. We should have him on the podcast. I bet he's available.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he ain't got much going on.
No.
Well, all right, kids. I think the coach is waving us back in, right?
It's about that time.
Yeah. We're gonna head back to the bench. We'll see you at the next blowout.
We're here when you need us. And if you made it this far, you're already part of the bench mob. So hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more chaos. Bench Points is on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you pretend to know ball.